Do you respond or do you react? Do you know the difference? Today we're going to talk, Rosie and I are going to talk about responding versus reaction. You know, many times when we react, it means you don't think, you just react to whatever situation it might be, whether it might be anger, whether it might be emotionally something positive or negative. But when you do respond, that's when you think. That's when you're calm, your parasympathetic system is calmed, and you're able to understand, because I think that's what the point is, Rosie.
Yeah.
Understand the other person's perception, point of view, and do not take it personally. And you know, when you do the reaction, you don't really care because you're in that fight flight system where it doesn't matter because you're thinking of the moment of reacting to whatever situation it is. It might be anger or it might be whatever it is. So today, let's talk about both, Rosie. What do you think?
You know, what I have found about myself is that when it's something about anger, or when I feel like somebody is challenging me or trying to dictate to me, I react instead of respond. And then later on, I think, oh, I mishandled that completely. But by then, it's too late. And I'm not quite sure how to train myself to respond instead of react, because, you know, it's like it's like, you know, if somebody's angry with me and they're yelling, even when they're not yelling that much, I'm like, why are you yelling at me? And, you know, and then it puts them on the defensive. And then before you know it, we're just using angry words towards each
other.
And that's not what I want, but
it's not communication.
No, it's not.
It's not. You know, the funny thing is that, you know, God has given us, we are the only human race. Animals don't communicate like we do. And yet we mistreat ourselves so bad. And not just ourselves, but the other individual, all because we don't want to learn how to communicate. It is much easier to respond than to actually, react than to respond.
Yes. And sometimes it might be okay, like when you're excited and somebody tells you something and you jump up and you're like, oh, that's wonderful, that's great, and that's okay. But like I said, when it really counts in anger or when a decision has to be made, that's when we really have to respond. We have to sit down, think about what we want to say, and make sure we understand what the other person is really saying. Because sometimes we are hearing the wrong thing.
Yes, and you're absolutely 100% correct. I think that, you know, it's harder to respond than to react. But you know what? It takes you so much further. Communication becomes such an essence for, you know, and you have even, I think that's what our group is so good at, that we learn to respond to each other, because reaction, we wouldn't have the friendship we would have.
Oh no.
So I think what has happened is that it is important that we understand, and that's what has happened, that we don't understand. Therefore, we have so many issues, so many problems amongst ourselves, especially family members. I mean, you know, because they have to be the one, you know, to be in control. They don't need to communicate. They just want to be in control. And how sad it is, because years go by and years go by, and next thing you know, you're not even close to your sibling. You're not close to your father. You're not close to your mother. You know, because they never understood you. And why? Because it was easier to react your entire lifetime. It was easier to just put it away, walk away, and now comes the end, and you wonder, what happened? She never loved me. He never loved me. But really, I mean, is that really the problem?
Most likely not. But that's what we believe we heard, and that's why we react that way. But if we really would have sat down and instead of reacted, responded, or sometimes it's just so easy to say, wait a second, did you just say?
Or can you count? Just count before you say the next word. Count at least to 3. I mean, forget the 10. Count to 3. But you know, we are so much into battle.
Oh my God.
That it's such a sad, sad thing, you know. So let's try to learn how to respond and not so much react. Because at the end of the day, we lose a lot by not responding.
Yeah.
So I do hope, and Rosie does too, and we both hope we made it very clear to you that there is a difference between reaction and responding, and that responding is always best. And we thank you for listening. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for giving us that thumbs up. Thank you for sharing, because that is what we love reading after we do our videos.